Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. Now, it is almost November 1st, so it's time to start thinking about Christmas. These are a couple of Dollar Tree elves that I've had stored away for the last year, and earlier today when I was going through my email, I found one from Design Bundles and it included a free elf adoption kit. So if you download the file, and I'm going to show it to you in just a minute, you can get some adoption certificates that you can print out, and you get some cut files, so you can cut things out of HTV and add them to the elves. The website says it's free all week, but I'd run over there and download it this weekend. As a matter of fact, let's move over to the computer and I'll do just that. When I clicked on the email that I got from designbundles.net, this is the screen it took me to. But let me show you how you can get here without needing an email. So you're just going to go to designbundles.net and click right here on free designs, and there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. If you don't have an account, it's free to sign up, and I do want you to know I have no affiliation with this company at all. I just really like the things you can get there. Okay, so I've downloaded those. I'm going to go ahead and drag that file to my desktop. Then I'll open up Cricut Design Space and we'll get to work. Before I started the video, I was curious if Dollar Tree had these elves again. So I went to their website and this was the first thing that popped up. So it appears they do have things you could use there this year. And as a last resort, like mine ran out 2 years ago, you could order them online for pickup. Now before I go into Cricut Design Space, I want to go ahead and open the file that I downloaded. And it came in as Design Bundles Elf Adoption. And we're just going to open the file that has everything in it. You get some adoption certificates, and those came in 3 different formats. I'll just blow those up so we can look at them. Now they all look pretty similar. Notice the size and the orientation is listed below each one. So you have 5x7, 8x10, and then letter size. Then you have some print and cut stickers. Those are cute. Well, these are really cute. You get these ornaments. But really, the only thing I'm interested in today for purposes of these elves are the SVGs. So let's look at these. Now mine opened up in Inkscape. That's my default program. Those are cute, 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 cute. So I'll go ahead and open Cricut Design Space. And the first thing I'll do is click on New Project. Then I need to upload my file. So I'm going to say Upload Image. Now I need to go find the file that I brought in from Design Bundles, and all I'm going to bring in from it are the SVGs. So that's all I need to bring in. I'll click Open. It already has a transparent background because it is an SVG, and so I click Upload. Now I'll click on that upload and I'll say Add it to Canvas. Now notice they came in grouped together, so I'm just going to hit Ungroup. Now I can get rid of anything I don't want. So the ones I think I want, for the girl, I'm going to use those glasses. I'm going to use this snowflake, and I'll use this bow tie. And then for my boy, I'm going to use the round glasses, this snowflake, and I want the bow tie from this. I don't know that I'll use all the rest of this, but I like this bow tie. Now I might want one more decoration for each, so I think I will drag these over and cut those as well. Now you can either just hide all these, but in my case I still have the file. I can re-download it. I'm just going to delete those. Now before I can print these or cut these, I need to make sure they're the right size. So this is a little over 2 inches overall, and in measuring my girl doll from center to center of the eyes, it's 1.5 inches. So here's the center, here's the center. This right now is only 1 inch. So I need to drag this larger. Okay, make sure it's locked so the proportions stay the same. So the middle of this eye is right here. So there would be 1.5 inch would be about right here. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit larger. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the glasses for the guy. And so here's the center of the left eye. Okay, so the center of the right eye would be about right there. Let's move this back over, get it centered up. And I think that looks good. Now I'm going to put the snowflakes on the hat. And I really feel like an inch square is pretty good. Notice this is thinner than it is tall. I think I'm going to fix that. So I'll unlock, and I will go with 1.2 by 1.2. And then go ahead and lock that. Once again, I want to make this 1.2. Since the proportions are locked, when I change one, it'll change the other. In measuring where this will go, looks like 1 1/4 would be about good. So on this one, since they're all together, let's see. Let me see if I can ungroup that. Okay, I can. So I'm just going to keep the bow tie. You know, I think I'll keep it all. So I'll group those back. Then I'm going to drag this so that I can tell the bow tie is about 1 1/4 inches wide. So I have the left side of it pretty close to the inch mark there. This looks just a little bit big. Let's go a little smaller. So even though it says it's 2.3, that's because it's measuring from here to here. But I'm just looking at the bow tie. It's starting right here at the 6-inch mark, goes to the 7. I don't know, it might be 1 1/3 inches. We'll go a tiny bit smaller, and then we're going to call that good. Now I'm going to cut these out to put on the skirt or the bottom half of the boy elf. And this needs to be a lot smaller. I'm going to go with 1 inch tall. And then same thing for my gingerbread man. Now I want to zoom in on this. I think that I'm going to lose the detail of the little cutouts inside. I think that's just going to cause problems. So with the tree selected, I can see all these cuts. I'm going to get rid of the circles. So I'll have a void there, but if I didn't get rid of those, you would actually have a little thing cut out of the middle, then you'd have the circle. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Then when I click on this main part, notice contour brightens up. So I'm going to get rid of each of these little lines here. I want to keep the circle cutouts, so I'll leave those. I'm not sure what this is. Now let's just see what we get. Okay, that's exactly what I want. So for the gingerbread man, I want to keep the eyes, the mouth, and these 3 holes right here. So let's see what we need to do with him. Let's hide. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I'm hiding the inside pieces of that. Then I'll go to my basic cut. Let's see what he would look like if I contour out anything. Let me see what this looks like. Okay, that'll do. It actually makes it more similar to the tree without all that detail. Now the last thing I need to do before I cut is figure out what color I want each of these. I want my ties to be black. I want my glasses to be black. But I want everything else to be white. Now, so that I can see it, I'm not really going to turn it white, I'm going to turn it gray. But I'll know that this means put in my white HTV, this means put in my black HTV. Now I'm going to make this on my Cricut Joy just because it's smaller, these are small designs, but you can make this on any cutter you have. Okay, we'll click Make It. I'm going to cut on a mat. So I'll say done. So the first thing it's cutting are my images that I want out of white. These are symmetrical, so I really don't have to mirror them, but it is always a good habit to go ahead and click the mirror button. I'll say continue. Here's my iron-on options. I'm just going to use this everyday iron-on. I'm using some white HTV that I got off of Amazon, and it works well on that setting. So I'll click done. Then I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you the cut. Okay, let me go ahead and take this cover off so the glare isn't as bad. Then I'm using some HTV that I got off of Amazon. I'll put a link to this in the video description in case you'd like to buy it. It's very reasonably priced. You get quite a bit and it'll last you a really long time. So all I need is this little scrap up here. And just like with most HTV, the carrier sheet is the shiny side. You want that down against your mat. Then your machine's going to cut through the actual vinyl. And with the Cricut Joy, it's really easy. First of all, I want to check my blade, just make sure there's nothing on it. Notice it's flashing, so it's ready for me to insert my mat. Now there's a sensor in there, so when it sees my materials in the right place, it's going to grab it. Notice it pulls it in, brings it back out. Just kind of make sure that it's straight, checks to make sure you have enough material. Then on my computer, I need to press the go button. Now once it's done, on the computer screen, there's an unload button and you push that. Now, first of all, I'll cut the excess off because I don't like wasting material, and I know that's a small scrap, but I will find some use for that. Then I'm just going to dig into a corner through the first layer, separate it from the carrier sheet, and just peel that off. Now this HTV weeds really nicely. It's very easy to pull off of the carrier sheet. Now you're not going to be able to see them on camera, but there are a lot of little bitty pieces to weed out of there. Not much on this one, but this one has a lot of little pieces. And then I have my little circles to weed out of these. Okay, so you get the point. I'll go ahead and finish weeding those off camera. Now let's go ahead and cut the black layer. For my black layer, I'm using this Caesar Easy Weed Stretch. You wouldn't need to use a stretch. This is what I have on hand. So that's what I'm using. Also, I did want to mention, when I went back to cut my black layer, because I had not attached all the pieces of my bow and the collar piece and all that, they were scattered across the page. So I went back into the design and I attached those back together so they'd cut out together. Now, just like the white layer, the shiny side is the carrier sheet. It needs to go down against your mat. On my screen, everything's hugging this left side and the top, so I need to make sure that I have this all the way to this left line and the top line. Then on my computer screen, nothing is really over here. So just like before, my light's flashing, so that's going to pull that in. Then I have to do the rest on the computer screen. Now, hopefully I didn't make these glasses too large. I'll bet I can make them work. Now this one will be pretty easy to weed. These are larger. So again, I'm just poking through the top layer, the vinyl layer of my HTV. Then once you get it started, again, this is super easy to weed with. I love the Siser HTV, especially the stretch. I'm going to finish weeding these off camera. And as soon as I'm done, we'll start adhering them to the elves. Okay, I have everything weeded, so we're ready to put those on. I did want to show you, when I get vinyl, I like to make a little label that talks about the instructions. And I noticed that both of these are cold peels. You preheat for 2 to 3 seconds. The Amazon one says press it for 300, 10 to 15 seconds. And the Siser says 305, 10 to 15 seconds. So what I'm going to do is just use my little Easy Press Mini, and I have it on medium heat. So I think I'll just start at the top of each one, and I'm going to put this snowflake on the girl, this one on the boy. Then when I said something about attaching, what I was talking about was this right here. So the bow was someplace on here and these are separate. I had failed to attach those back in Cricut Design Space. So I went back in, I highlighted all of these pieces on my screen, and then I attached them back. Okay, so we'll start with the boy elf, and I'm going to preheat it for 2 to 3 seconds. Then I just want it to kind of go in the middle here. I may actually sew little bells on the end. Not sure about that yet. So you can either press directly onto this. I tend to like to use a Teflon sheet. So I'm going to push down really hard for about 10 seconds. Then since it's a cold peel, I need to wait. So I'll move on over to her, preheating her hat. Then once again, I'm going to hold this down, pressing really hard for 10 seconds. Okay, so let's go back to him. This is fine now. Let's see if 10 seconds is enough. Okay, it is. Now when I'm done, I'll go back and I'll press each of my designs down with a Teflon sheet. You would melt it if you didn't use a Teflon sheet since the carrier sheet's already off. And I'll just make sure they're all adhered really well. Okay, so here's my glasses. Remember, I resized my glasses, and I think that's a nice size. Oh, I didn't preheat. Sorry, elf. Sorry about your eyes. Now I think I'll do this in 2 pressings. One on the left side, then I'll move over to the right side. Now there's a little bit of this snowflake that I didn't even get adhered down, so I needed to pull from up here. Let me go back and get that pressed down. That's the downside of using a Teflon sheet, is it's hard to see exactly where your iron is, but that's easily fixed. So I'm just trying to stay off her nose, just barely above her nose. I'm just going to try it without the Teflon sheet. Okay, so let's see if this bow works. Okay, I like the bow, I like the little buttons. I do not like these little lapel pieces. I think they interfere with that, so I'm just going to cut those off. Now with this one, this is going to stick to the white and the red, so you need to make sure that the white is smoothed down on the red before you press this. Then if I knew who I was giving these to, I could put their name down here. I'm not really sure yet, so I'm just making them very generic for now. I think this bow with the little holes is so cute. This is working fine without the Teflon sheet. And again, it's much easier to see where you're pressing when you don't have it. So I'm just going to go without. Now this sheet, this carrier sheet, just started coming up on its own. So I think it's fine to remove it. Then the last thing I'm going to do is do a little embellishment down here. And I don't want it in the middle. Maybe I will decide who I give them to. I could put their name kind of like that, and put this right here. So I want it off-centered and I want it kind of slanted. And then the same thing with the little gingerbread cookie. Just put it off to the side, kind of make it slanted as well. Okay, now I'm just going to speed through going back over each of these for about 10 seconds, maybe 5. I really just feel like this helps adhere them down really well. Now earlier I already repressed that one, but I think I forgot this little guy's snowflake. So I'll finish up with it and then we'll be done. Now, if I were going to set these side by side, maybe I would have had this one slanting this way and this over here slanting that way. I don't even know who I'm going to give them to yet, but just a thought, if you were going to set them on a shelf, you might want to have those on opposite sides. But didn't these turn out cute? It was so easy. When I made these before, I had to go online, find a snowflake, trace it, do all that work. With these, this was a free design and it came with everything that I needed plus more. Now before I leave, I want to tell you what I would have done differently. It works for these to be on the white and the red, but I can kind of see where the white meets the red. So it works, but if I were to do this again, I would make these bow ties so they actually fit on just the white piece. All right, thanks so much for sticking it out all the way to the end. Until my next video. Bye-bye.